Did you know that Queen Elizabeth I, one of the most powerful and iconic monarchs in all of history, also had some of the most shocking and downright bizarre hygiene habits you could ever imagine? Her reign was legendary, but her personal routines were anything but glamorous. Behind the glittering gowns, the lavish banquets, and the mighty rule, there was a world of filth, disease, and, well, truly strange beauty routines. The royal court may have sparkled on the surface, but life in the 16th century was far from clean or comfortable, even for a queen. In today's video, we're diving deep into the 10 most revolting and unbelievable hygiene habits of Queen Elizabeth I. Habits that might make you feel incredibly grateful for modern soap, toothbrushes, and indoor plumbing. Some of these customs are so shocking you'll wonder how anyone survived those times. Stay tuned, because number 1 will make you rethink the glamour of royal life forever, and you'll never look at history's most famous queen the same way again. Elizabeth I famously claimed she took a bath just once a month, a statement that might shock us today. Whether she truly needed it or not, this rare ritual was a point of pride and caution for the queen. In the 16th century, people genuinely believed that bathing could open the pores and let in dangerous diseases, making it a risky endeavor. Instead of regular baths, most people, including royalty, relied on wiping themselves down with cloths and dabbing on scented oils to mask odors. When Elizabeth did bathe, her attendants would prepare the water with fragrant herbs and even milk, turning it into a luxurious, almost medicinal event. But between these rare baths, her skin inevitably collected layers of grime, sweat, and even lice, a common nuisance of the era. Imagine the challenge of ruling an empire, making history, and attending grand court events, all while smelling far less than royal. To maintain her iconic pale look, Elizabeth used ceruse, a mixture of vinegar and white lead. This makeup cracked on her skin, required daily reapplication, and was incredibly toxic. Over time, it ate away at her skin, leaving scars and sores. Yet instead of removing it, she layered on more makeup, creating a mask of poison that only worsened her hygiene and health. Elizabeth loved sweets, especially candied violets and sugar lozenges. Unfortunately, dental care was primitive. By her later years, her teeth were black, rotten, and falling out. She often wore false teeth made of ivory, bone, or even animal teeth. These ill-fitting dentures gave her a sunken appearance and made speaking difficult. Foreign ambassadors reported her breath was so foul they struggled to stand close. The queen owned hundreds of elaborate wigs to hide her thinning hair, which she lost partly due to illness and heavy cosmetics. But wigs in the Tudor period were not washed regularly. They often became homes for fleas, lice, and even mites. Perfumed powders were used to mask the stench, but essentially Elizabeth carried colonies of bugs on her head while meeting nobles and suitors. Believe it or not, Elizabeth's gowns, though dazzling and jeweled, were rarely washed. The fabrics were delicate, and laundry risked damaging them, so instead servants would brush them, perfume them, and cover up stains. Some dresses, weighing up to 40 pounds, absorbed sweat, food spills, and body oils. The queen often wore layers, trapping even more odor underneath. Hand washing wasn't common in the Elizabethan court. Soap was expensive, and many believed water spread illness. Instead, Elizabeth wiped her hands on scented cloths or used rose water. After feasts, she cleaned her fingers on the tablecloth or on bread, which dogs later ate. Imagine the Queen of England cleaning her greasy hands on food scraps. By the time she was older, her decaying teeth gave her unbearable pain. To mask her breath, Elizabeth chewed on cloves, cinnamon, and other spices. She even rubbed honey and vinegar mixtures on her gums, but these did little to help. Reports describe her struggling to eat meat, her words slurred by loose teeth. Yes, even queens had to use the toilet. Elizabeth relied on what were called close stools, essentially, fancy chamber pots lined with velvet. But here's the dirty truth. Servants had to empty these by hand, and the waste often sat nearby for long periods, stinking up the palace. Hygiene standards were so low that even royal chambers smelled like cesspits. Toward the end of her life, Elizabeth developed painful sores, possibly from lead poisoning. Instead of cleaning or treating them properly, she covered them with thick layers of perfume, ointments, and even more white makeup. The stench of rotting flesh was hidden beneath floral oils, but those close to her could still sense it. Ironically, Elizabeth was terrified of sickness. She ordered her court to avoid bathing, fearing water carried plague. She even ordered fresh rushes to be laid on palace floors, believing they kept disease away. But in reality, these rushes just hid garbage, spit, and waste beneath them, turning her luxurious court into a breeding ground for bacteria. Queen Elizabeth I remains one of history's most fascinating monarchs. A brilliant strategist, a master of diplomacy, and a woman who shaped the destiny of an entire nation. Her reign is often remembered as a golden age, filled with dazzling achievements, legendary explorers, and the flourishing of the arts. Yet behind the golden throne, the magnificent gowns, and the carefully crafted image of the Virgin Queen, there was a very different reality. Elizabeth was a woman trapped not only by the expectations of her role, but also by the filth, disease, and superstition that defined her era. The splendor of her court masked a world where basic hygiene was a daily struggle, and even royalty could not escape the grime of the 16th century. Her revolting hygiene habits, like rarely bathing, using lead-based makeup, and living among foul odors, remind us just how far we've come. Even the most powerful ruler in the world was powerless against the dirt and disease that lurked in every corner of her palace. So, would you have survived life in Elizabeth's court, surrounded by the stench and squalor of the time? Imagine navigating the intrigue and glamour, all while holding your breath. Or would the overwhelming smell alone have sent you running for the nearest exit, desperate for fresh air and a bar of soap? Tell me in the comments below. Could you have handled the dirty secrets of the past? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking truths from history.